If you have long COVID, ME/CFS, or neuroplastic fatigue, I'm going to share 7 proven steps for energy and healing. This is how I personally overcame 13 years of chronic fatigue syndrome and have helped many others regain their vitality. Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Tolin, a mind body coach and the creator of the Be Your Own Medicine course. In this fatigue recovery blueprint, I'll explain how to beat fatigue, overcome post-exertional malaise, and get out of the crash cycle. If that sounds good, keep watching. Okay, let's rewind back before you had chronic symptoms. Can you remember a time where you had a really hard day and you just felt exhausted? Maybe you had an intense deadline or an argument with someone you cared about. It's completely natural to feel tired after that, right? Our brain's telling us to slow down, process that stressor, and recuperate. Now, with prolonged fatigue, our brain is repeating that cycle over and over. We go through a stressful time, our brain becomes hypervigilant, and it gets stuck in the stress symptom loop. Our brain even learns neural pathways for fatigue and other neuroplastic symptoms like pain and weakness. This is not because our body is broken, but because our nervous system is on overdrive. Now, of course, you need to rule out a pathological disease with your doctor. Assuming you've done that, neuroplastic symptoms are 100% real, but they're not harmful. The brain is perceiving danger, but the body isn't damaged. So here's my 7 proven steps for energy and healing. Number 1, foster safety. If you're worried or ruminating on fatigue, do a safety appraisal, asking yourself, am I physically safe in this moment? Now, the vast majority of the time, thankfully, you're home free, right? But when we feel sensations in our body, it can feel like we're not actually physically safe. And so you want to activate that prefrontal cortex, come into the here and now, and remind yourself that you are actually okay. Notice whatever thoughts might be fueling fear and thus symptoms, and shift to more affirming ones, right? So it can also help to come into your body. A practice I really like is orienting, and I have a video here on this channel. I'll put that link in the video description. But basically, you just want to come into your senses. That can mean slowly looking around the room or out the window, or even going outside and looking at the sky or the leaves on the trees, listening to the sounds around you, becoming very present to where your body touches your clothing, the furniture, or the floor. And even right now, notice where you're being supported. Just notice that sense of grounding. You might also notice textures on your skin. So our senses are a portal into the here and now, and they can take us out of those fear loops. You basically want to cultivate a sense of safety, both in your mind and in your body. This is really ground zero for mind-body healing. Number 2, feel emotions. When fatigue or other symptoms arise, ask yourself, what emotions am I feeling? Right? Because we so often just fixate on these physical sensations. We worry about them, we ruminate, we go down rabbit holes researching them and trying to find solutions. I've been there so many times. I totally get it. In this approach, what we want to do is acknowledge our emotions and bring them into this conversation, right? So these emotions that we shut down are things like anger, fear, sadness, or shame. I don't see any of these emotions as bad or negative. They're just emotions that are more challenging, and they take a safe space to allow them to surface. You can really just start out by saying or writing down something as simple as, I'm feeling angry right now, right? Or even take a step back. A part of me is scared. It's not all of you. You're not fear. It's just a part of you that's scared. And then you become that mindful witness. There's also been really interesting studies. There was one out of UCLA that saw when people named their emotions out loud, it actually turned down some activity in the amygdala, right? And this does what John Sarno always told his patients to do, which was shift from the physical to the emotional. And the reason this is important is because our emotions are trying to get our attention. If we ignore them, they just get louder and they show up as symptoms. When we push down our emotions, we're also pushing down our life force energy, right? We're suppressing that energy in motion or emotion. And actually, as we allow our emotions in a safe, healthy way, it frees up all kinds of energy and life force. It's also helpful on that note to tune into your emotions in a somatic way, right? So fear can be buzzy or tingly. Anger may feel hot or intense. Sadness often has a dull or heavy sensation. Can you relax and breathe into the sensations and emotions in your body? And again, this is how you shift from the physical to the psychological. And this leads us to number 3, track sensations. If you feel fatigue, weakness, dizziness, pain, or other neuroplastic symptoms, notice the physical sensations with open awareness. You're becoming very curious about how they feel. Are they heavy, dull, tingling, or pulsing? Are they cool or warm? Do they stay in one place or move through the body? And in fact, you can notice that right now if you have a predominant sensation. Observe this sensation as you would a passing storm or shifting clouds in the sky. Follow the sensation, reassuring yourself that all is well. And so, this is something you can do casually throughout your day, and I highly encourage it. But when you have time, do a practice called somatic tracking. This was a meditation that was key for my own recovery, and I've seen it with so many people. It's really a form of brain retraining, but it's also bringing us back into a safe connection with our felt sense. And so, as we do somatic tracking, we let our brain know that we're paying attention to the signals that it's sending, but there's no cause for alarm. Fatigue is simply a sensation and it's nothing to fear. If you want to try a free somatic meditation, you can go to my website at rebeccatolin.com/newsletter and sign up for one there and get started. But also another way to just bring awareness into your body in a safe way is to notice any muscles that you're clenching throughout the day and invite a little more relaxation. Just see what's ready to let go. Because we so often tighten our muscles as part of the flight, fight, and freeze response, we don't even know we're doing it. And in kind, it's helpful to consciously relax our muscles throughout the day. So, right now, let's take a short somatic pause, and I invite you to tune into your body and let go of any tension that you can. See if you can soften your forehead, jaw. Let your shoulders drop, release your arms and belly, releasing tightness and opening to relaxation. You might even let out a sigh. And this is something you can pause and do throughout your day. Okay, moving on to number 4, use affirmations. Now, I'm not suggesting that you repeat words that you don't even believe in a rote way. Find the words that engender comfort, peace, or even optimism in you. These could be things like, I'm physically safe in this moment. These symptoms aren't harmful. My body knows how to heal. Or even, I accept and love myself as I am, right? So find those words that you can really believe that feel supportive. And it takes you out of that catastrophizing because it takes consistent, confident reassurance to rewire your brain. It's much like training a puppy if you've ever had one. We want to do it again and again with patience and persistence. Okay, number 5, find acceptance. This is a big one. It can seem challenging, but it's also really life-changing as we can embrace it. Now, I know because I beat my head against the wall for 13 years before I discovered this mind-body approach. I went to 50 different practitioners. I tried a gazillion different treatments. And I finally fell into this state of acceptance about my symptoms. It wasn't resignation. It was almost like a state of grace, but there was some conscious intention to do it, And when I stopped fighting myself and my body, I actually started noticing what felt better inside myself. So instead of putting all this energy into fighting and also just doing other things that practitioners were telling me to do, like eating these really restrictive diets, I started noticing what actually gave me a sense of palpable relief. And I also started just trusting whatever needs to get done will get done. There were so many things that I thought had to happen for my survival, essentially. And what I really learned is there's very few things that have to happen for our survival, and somehow they get done. And what I want to say is that you are not worthy because you do X, Y, and Z. Your worth is not based on your productivity, on a clean house, an empty inbox, or check marks on your to-do list. I know it can be satisfying to do those things. And of course, there are things we all need to do in the world. But really notice the thoughts that pop up around your worthiness for your own self-care and your own self-compassion, because these are vital parts of healing and thriving. Now, another way to accept your symptoms is to pause when you need it. If you're highly symptomatic, anxious, or overwhelmed, let your system unwind, because we can't rewire our pathways when our system is in overwhelm. Instead, that's a good time to meditate, listen to music, read a book, watch a show, talk with a friend, snuggle with a pet, do a creative act like drawing or writing, anything that takes your mind off the symptoms, right? There's absolutely a place for distraction, and there's definitely a place for cultivating pleasure in our recovery path. Instead of pressuring yourself to have energy when you don't have it, relax into where you are right now. And interestingly, what I found is that can expand our energy envelope more quickly than when we're fighting where we are. Number 6, decondition triggers. As you're ready, the way to get back to your life activities is to resume them slowly. Challenge your physical triggers to the degree that you can. Right. So, but that by that, I mean, start taking actions you want and need to do in small steps. And these may be activities that bring on symptoms like standing or walking or chores around the house. But you want to start doing these things in graded steps. And then if your anxiety or fatigue start feeling overwhelming, that's when you ease up, right? You want to move beyond your perceived limitations so you can retrain your brain with outcome independence. And this essentially means indifference to the symptoms. Now, of course, we all care how we feel in our body. That's natural. And we care whether or not we have symptoms. But how you react to any symptoms tells your brain whether you're safe or not safe. So if you're getting reactive, it's really generally time to back off and to soothe yourself. Because a sense of ease, empowerment, and safety retrain your brain that positions, foods, and other stimuli are safe. Number 7, be kind to yourself. Notice tendencies and habits that cause fatigue throughout your day. Are you pressuring or pushing yourself in a way that's causing tension? Is too much screen time zapping your energy? Are you catastrophizing about your symptoms? Or do you try to please other people instead of staying true to yourself? Now, these are all very natural personality traits, what Sarno called the TMS personality, and they're also coping mechanisms that we typically learn very young in childhood. But these things can zap our energy and cause other neuroplastic symptoms. And as you notice what behaviors trigger your symptoms, you can bring in the agency to shift them, because how we treat ourselves affects how we feel in our bodies. And this is important, not to blame yourself. This is not your fault. You are doing none of this consciously. Nobody would bring on these symptoms, of course, consciously in any way. But we want to learn to take responsibility, the ability to respond to ourselves in a way that's truly supportive and engenders safety. Because I know from personal experience that having chronic symptoms is the hardest thing. And you deserve compassion, not criticism. And the place that starts with is with ourself, right? If that's really hard for you to access, consider how you treat a dear friend who's going through the same situation as you and extend that same kindness to yourself. This is a skill that we can cultivate. Okay, and related to self kindness and self compassion, what gives you energy and what takes your energy? So, when we're growing our energy envelope, our attention is super important. Focus on the things that expand your energy, even if it's just in really subtle ways. For many years, I started just noticing that practicing restorative yoga or doing meditation, reading Eckhart Tolle, or being in nature just brought me a little more well being. It wasn't like I felt I was recovering from chronic fatigue syndrome. I hadn't even discovered this approach yet. But I did notice that these were little glimmers that gave my nervous system a big sigh. And then later, as I learned this approach and I realized how important it is to create a sense of safety, I really started disengaging from the things that drained me of energy. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So see what you have agency over to remove yourself from or to minimize. It could be toxic conversations. It could be news overload. It could be people who tell you that you can't recover. It's up to you to really focus on the things that give you optimism again and again, because this is your path to healing, my friend. Okay, so I'd love to hear what you thought of this video and how you're going to apply it in your life. You can rewire yourself for energy and healing by doing these 7 steps consistently day by day. Also, subscribe to this channel for more mind-body recovery tools. That way you'll get my latest videos and you'll help me spread the word. And again, if you want to try that free somatic meditation, you can sign up on my website at RebeccaTolin.com. Also, if you're ready to overcome CFS, long COVID, and other fatigue symptoms, I walk people through the entire recovery process in my Be Your Own Medicine course. So that's here for you too. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video serves you, and take good care.